Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for popping in. Today we are talking about why you never feel full. So, if this is anybody's struggle, go ahead and put your hand up because I have been there. This is something that plagues a lot of people, and there are a couple of reasons why. We're going to address some of the physical and emotional reasons why you may never feel full. We're going to start with so if you are somebody who finishes your meal and your stomach is not full, you're feeling unsatiated, no matter what you do, you feel like you're really just not satisfied after you're finished eating, this is for you. And if you are somebody who feels physically satisfied but not emotionally or mentally satisfied, and you are just going back for one more bite or one more snack, this is also for you. There are multiple reasons why we may not feel satiated after we eat. We are going to start by addressing some of the physical components, and then we'll move into the mental emotional components. So, the first reason why you may not feel satisfied after you finish eating is that you are dehydrated. So when you don't drink enough water, your body sends off hunger signals. So when you're feeling hungry, the first thing that you want to do is have a big glass of water, wait a couple of minutes and see if it goes away. If it does go away, you were dehydrated, you were thirsty, not actually hungry. If it doesn't, then you know that you're actually hungry and you do need to eat. So let's talk water surrounding meals. When you drink your water, you should actually do so about 20 minutes before you sit down to eat. According to traditional Chinese medicine and Japanese culture, you should be having your water separate from your meals. We are so in the habit of having drinks in between our bites of food, and additionally, not only do we have the liquid, but we have iced liquid, which cools the digestive fire and weakens your body's ability to assimilate and digest your food properly. So by drinking in between your sips, you're not only cooling down your digestive fire, but you're also breaking up the food that's in your stomach, and it doesn't get digested optimally. It doesn't provide your body the opportunity to assimilate it like it should. So it's very important to drink a big glass of water about 20 minutes before you start to eat. Eat your food, wait a couple of minutes, and then drink another big glass of water. And if you ate the proper amount and you listen to your hunger signals, then you should feel satisfied. Let's talk about another reason why you may not be physically feeling satiated or full. This reason is that you're not getting enough fiber. What is fiber? Fiber is that nutrient that allows you to properly digest your food, keeps things moving, if you know what I mean, and it also fills your stomach up. So foods that contain plenty of fiber include lots of fruits and vegetables, green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, fruits like apples and grapes. These foods contain a high content of fiber, and they help to fill you up. So something that is quite useful, I find, in navigating a situation where you're feeling physically unsatiated is to take more of a volumetrics approach to your eating. Especially if you notice that you're feeling unsatisfied around a particular meal, maybe your hunger and your metabolism shoots up around lunchtime. This should actually be your biggest meal of the day, not dinner. That's a fun fact for you. This is so that you use that energy up throughout the day and you're not going to sleep with excess energy in your system from dinner. So lunch should actually be your biggest meal. And so let's say that you're feeling super hungry around lunchtime and you are starving and you just can't seem to get that lunchtime meal satiating you. Try adding an extra serving or two of fiber. So adding a nice green salad, adding an extra cup of broccoli, or maybe you add an apple. Whatever the form of fiber that you are adding to your plate is, make sure that you're eating that before the rest of your food. So like I said, if you are having it separately, like a salad, you do want to eat the salad prior to everything else that might be accompanying your meal so that you get the fiber down into your system as a baseline. It fills you up, and then you can be freed up not only to digest your food properly, because fiber is what kind of really gets things going down there, but it also allows you to listen to your intuitive hunger signals because now there's more space that's taken up in your stomach. A lot of times we think of satiation in terms of calories or units of energy, and this is kind of a falsehood, because if you compare, and I'm sure that you probably have seen this, calories to a cup of broccoli versus calories to a cup of olive oil, the numbers are astounding. And this is not about calories, this is simply about space in your stomach. So the space in your stomach that's taken up by a cup of broccoli is going to be more, the volume is more in a cup of broccoli, obviously, than a cup of olive oil. And being that your stomach is just a unit of space, of course this is going to make sense that you would not feel full after a cup of olive oil, even though you've got plenty more calories in olive oil versus broccoli. Your stomach is a unit of space and it's not being used. So adding that extra bit of fiber through cruciferous fruits and vegetables, through a nice green salad, through organic fruits and vegetables of your choosing, that's a really helpful way to combat that physical component of not being satiated or not feeling full after you're done eating. That's something that's helped me greatly along my journey of navigating this kind of physical and emotional component of not being full, which leads me into the next area of discussion here, which is the mental component or emotional component of not feeling satisfied. So ladies, I totally feel your pain and empathize with you when you're in the boat of you're feeling full physically, but you're not feeling full mentally. You're not feeling satiated. You're reaching for one more bite, one more snack, like I was saying earlier, and no matter what you do, you just can't seem to find that balance of I feel physically full, so now I feel mentally full. And something that I find greatly helps me and really helps a lot of my clients is mindful eating. What is mindful eating? Mindful eating is that body-mind experience being brought to your plate. It's acknowledging that eating is an experience that engages all 5 senses and addresses all 3 components of your holistic body, your mind, body, and your spirit. So what are the ways that we can mindfully eat that addresses all of these components and allows us to feel mentally satiated along with physically satiated? Well, the first thing is that we need to acknowledge food for all of its different purposes. So food is obviously nourishment, food is medicine, right? But food is also celebration and it's also consumed for spiritual purposes. So when you sit down to eat your meal, you want to make sure that you plate it nicely. That's showing yourself or showing whoever you're preparing the food for that you care about it. You care about the food that's on the plate. You've prepared it especially for yourself or for that other person, and you've put some thought into it. It's not just kind of tossed into a bowl, mixed all up, and just handed to you, right? This is something that I find really interesting, is that when you think about going out to a restaurant, and even a nice fancy restaurant, right, they don't really give you big portions. Some restaurants, right, the food industry usually gives you more than needed. But if you tend to go to a nice fancy restaurant, they actually usually give you a portion that's smaller than maybe you would serve yourself. But you usually come away feeling quite satisfied. Why is this? Well, when somebody has taken the time and effort to prepare that meal for you, plate it beautifully, take it out on a tray and set it in front of your space at the table, you feel cared for. You feel nourished from the inside out. Not only do you feel cared for by whoever the hands were that prepared that food, but you're also paying really good money, maybe dressed up really nicely, and you're gonna savor this really expensive, delicious plate of food, right? You are not gonna take for granted this occasion that you're out at a restaurant, maybe you're with close company, maybe you're with your significant other or your family, right? You are enjoying the company with this delicious meal, you're dressed up nicely, you're gonna savor this moment because you wanna remember it. You wanna make great memories with those around you. You're gonna chew your food slowly, you're gonna savor and taste this food that somebody else has prepared for you, and you're gonna walk away feeling really, really great. And so the idea of bringing this mindfulness that surrounds that carefully prepared, carefully eaten meal to your own table is something that I've found really helpful. So not only plating your food, but also taking in all of the sensory components of eating your food, right? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What is the texture of the food in your mouth when you're eating it? And how do you feel before, during, and after eating your food? Bringing the sensory experience in is something that's so helpful. And not only does it force you to acknowledge all the different ways that you're experiencing your food, but it also aids you in slowing down and really chewing and tasting your food. This is something that very much contributes to mindless eating, is not chewing your food well enough and eating very fast with large bites. So ways that we can combat that are taking smaller bites, so putting less food on your fork or on your spoon, and also putting your utensil down in between your bites. So having a small bite of food, putting the fork down, and then chewing really well. Chewing your food most literally down to a pulp, and starting that digestion process in the mouth. That is really where everything starts. The digestive enzymes fire off in your mouth. So if you're not chewing your food well enough, of course you're not going to feel satisfied, right? There's not only that digestive enzyme component, but there is the component that you are breezing right through your meal and you didn't even really get an opportunity to recognize that you're eating, and this experience is something that you're really enjoying. Before you know it, all the food's gone off your plate and you feel like you didn't even eat anything because you weren't present for it. Speaking of presence, something that really can wreak havoc on the emotional component of eating is scrolling while you eat. We are so in the habit of scrolling through Instagram, through Facebook, texting our friends, watching YouTube videos while we're eating. And this is a mindless activity that takes you away from the present moment of eating your food. So I really encourage you to quit scrolling while you eat and be present with the food that's on your plate. This allows you to acknowledge and be grateful for this opportunity you have to sit down and nourish your mind, body, and your spirits. This brings me to that holistic keystone of eating your food, right? Obviously, you're nourishing your body with the food that's on your plate. I am a huge encourager for filling your plate up with organic, quality ingredients and enjoying it and eating food that makes your heart happy, but making sure that it's really good for you in the process. Mind, right? Mind. We just addressed mindful eating and that mental component being present. And then the spiritual component, right? Giving thanks for your food. I treasure praying over my food before I eat and thanking God for all the resources and the hands that went into preparing the food that's on my plate, and for the gift of having food to eat and to nourish my body. And that's something that's really changed the game for me. Is just taking that extra moment. It's also a really good way to practice patience, right? When the food comes right in front of you to your place at the table, you just want to dive into that first bite. But taking the moment to acknowledge and thank God for the food that's on your plate allows you to practice patience. It's an opportunity for you, and smelling the food and looking at the food and just being grateful and really just practicing that moment of gratitude. Gratitude changes the game. There's endless studies on the importance of gratitude and how it influences your body, how it increases your dopamine levels and sends off those feel-good hormones. So taking care of your mind, body, and spirit while you're eating, addressing all those five senses, these are some things that you can do to help you feel more full when you're done. And all of these things in tandem will allow you to unlock your intuitive hunger signals, which tend to get lost today, both in diet culture and in socialization, social eating, right? Sometimes we just want to go out, we want to eat because our friend is eating. Now, there's a time and a place for that, but when that kind of gets mixed in, those signals get blurred. When you're by yourself and you're eating your meals, then we have issues of emotional eating and we're confused about when we're actually hungry and when we're not. So taking all of those components into consideration and really just listening to yourself, listening to your body, trust yourself. Your body knows. And I know that you have probably been through a lot if you're struggling with this issue and it's more of a mental game for you, right? Physically, we can fix that easily, right? With some water, with some fiber. Maybe you need a little bit more food on your plate, maybe your portions are too small. But then this mental component really takes a lot of work, and I acknowledge you for diving in and wanting to do that work. I've been there myself. I've struggled deeply with emotional eating, and I know that you have a story if that's you as well. And I want to encourage you that there is endless opportunity for you to break the chains that food has over your life and enjoy your food, not think about it 24/7, and really just live freely and enjoy those moments where you get to sit down and nourish your body through the process of eating. If you are struggling with emotional eating and you would like to talk to me further about this, I would love to have that conversation with you. You can book a free health consultation at kristalynwellness.com or email me directly at info@kristalynwellness.com. I look forward to talking to you. Thank you so much for watching, and please hit that subscribe button below. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Mwah.